Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fragrant Bunker. Today we're going to do the top 5 colognes in my collection, the ones that I love the most. Now, truth be told, I've done a top 10 colognes in the past, several years ago on my main superdacob channel. And I always like to see how my preferences and tastes evolve throughout the years. Also, even if some perfumes repeat, from list to list, I still have the feeling that some of them tell me a new story and give me a new vibe. And I notice this the longer that I am on YouTube and the more that I it's almost like a diary, talking about fragrances. And every time I repeat myself on a certain perfume and I choose a certain perfume for a certain list, and if that choice happens several years after its original happening in another video, then I noticed that, well, I've changed because I've grown. Time has passed. And as time passes, these perfumes tell you more stories. You connect to them on a different level in a different way. So it's very, very fascinating to have all of these videos add up throughout the years. And then when you look back through them, you realize, oh, wow, there has been an evolution in my own life, in all my personal experiences, loves, trials, tribulations, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And through it all, these perfumes remain as your kind of best friends, to take you on this journey of life. So I personally don't think it's a bad thing to repeat certain topics throughout the years and bring back to life the memory of certain perfumes. It's worth it because they merit that and more. So before we get to the list, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Push the join button next to the subscription button. Become a member today, gain access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon. Superdacob all spelled together there as well for extra perks. This video is being filmed live in front of a live virtual audience. I live stream several times a week on my main Superdacob channel. Go follow me there. And hello to my co-chatters on the sidebar. So, colognes really deserve a special place in perfume history. In fact, I don't think that colognes really need to have the added perfume connotation next to me, like Cologne Perfumes. In fact, if you notice at the beginning of the video, I said my top 5 colognes. I did not say my top 5 Cologne perfumes or my top 5 Cologne fragrances. Of course, you can say that. That's totally fine. But I think a lot of people have this misconception that because the concentration is Cologne or eau de Cologne, that fragrance is going to be much weaker than an eau de toilette, an eau de parfum, or an extrait. Now, extraits live in a realm of their own, and yes, you can also have extraits that are very, very light and stay very close to the skin and are very, very intimate. But usually an extrait is more pompous and dense. But colognes have a bad rep in terms of longevity because people started thinking that a cologne has, lower concentration of this, of that, of essential oils, bigger ratio in terms of like water to alcohol as opposed to essential oils and then blah, blah, blah. So, and colognes, use the fresh ingredients usually, citruses, bergamots, delicate things that evaporate very quickly. Yes, there is that, but there are also colognes out there that have ginormous lasting power, really big projection, really, really big resistance to heat or to cold. So, truth be told, cologne is a world of its own. It's like you have perfumes here, and then you got colognes here. And within the world of colognes, you have colognes that are weaker and you have colognes that are stronger. So rather than just limiting and reducing the art of creating colognes to a mere, cologne, it should be cheaper than an eau de toilette, it should be cheaper than an eau de parfum because it's weaker. We have to demystify this. We have to stop seeing it that way. Coco Chanel used to say, you know, it doesn't matter what you're wearing as a fragrance. She said it in one of those rare television interviews that she did. She said, you know, even if your perfume isn't bombastic and not strong, and it's just a hint of something delicate, nuanced, subtle, it's still your allure and it still surrounds you, even though maybe for a certain smell, you need to come really close to a person to feel it, which is very sexy if you think about it. But other colognes project like beasts. So let's get into it. Succinct. Thumb up the video and subscribe if you're liking it. So let me start off with a masterful cologne that is really hard to get. I wonder if it's been discontinued. I still have the bottle with the original logo. It's a 300 ml. Another thing that I love about colognes, usually they're sold in really big bottles. And yes, usually, you know, usually it's not always the case. And in this list today, we will see the price differences, which proves even more my point that colognes are a world of their own. It's like you have a more concentrated cologne, less concentrated cologne, more affordable cologne, less affordable cologne. And because I'm using a green screen, it's kind of hard to see. Well, you can see this one. This is Thierry Mugler's Eau de Cologne in this gorgeous acid green that kind of becomes invisible. Oh man, this... Oh, there's something so beautiful about Thierry Mugler's cologne. It's almost salty. There's like a salty accord in it. It's as if you've gone to the beach and you're swimming in the ocean or in the sea, and you come out and you've cooled down. The heat of the sun is not burning you anymore. You feel so refreshed and relaxed, and you have that smell of cooling ocean on your skin, but with a hint of the salt as your skin dries out in the sun. You get that waft of salt, and you still have a bit of the flavor of the salty water in your mouth. That's kind of the vibe that this gives me. It has a salty neroli component in it. This thing is so beautiful. And this is the old school Mugler logo that they do not use anymore, unfortunately. 300 ml. You can screw this off and you can decant it. You know, it's as you can see, it's old school barbershop style bottle. I mean, this thing is just gorgeous all around. Seriously, I'm so glad I got this back in the day. Oh, so delicate, but so sophisticated. So this is, for example, a mid price range cologne, you know. And but it has a twist. Of course, it has the citrusy bergamoty smell, but then it goes also into those more zesty nuances as well. Oof, this one is so good. I love it. Now, cologne can indeed also, you know, be quite expensive. And here's an example of a gorgeous cologne that is very expensive, unfortunately. Is the price warranted? Maybe not, but I can tell you this. I have never smelled a better formulated cologne than this one. I think it's the neroli in this one as well, and a hint of vanilla. There's a warmth to this. It doesn't last long, this one, okay, on the skin. But right after you've showered, fresh shower, you jump out of the shower, you lavish yourself in this one, you're gonna feel like $1,000,000, and it's gonna surround you with an aura of delight, of sparkly, zesty blend of aldehydes and neroli and bergamot in the best of way, with the highest top-notch ingredients you can possibly find. Of course it was going to be Chanel's Eau de Cologne. Are you kidding me? This thing is amazing. 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 And if you can hunt down an older batch, oh. If you can hunt down an older batch, you know, when it was a little bit more concentrated, Oh my God, this thing is, it's like fresh cut green grass. Oh, mixed with a spicy, vibrant bergamot accord with neroli hues and a smidge of sweetness that kind of delicately echoes from the back. Oh man, it's a it's a painting. It's a beautiful pastel painting of stains of color with kind of drops of green. And wind. There's a lot of wind and clouds in the air. It's so dynamic. This thing is alive. It's vibrant. You guys, oh, love it. And this is quite an old batch. 0301. This one is 9 years old. 8 years old. This one's 8 years old, you guys. These batch codes repeat every 8 to 9 years. So we're back to the zeros now in 2024 as I'm doing this video. So this one is about 8 or 9 years old. And still smells divine. Divine. So sophisticated, pardon me. Unfortunately, you know, these prices keep going up. So these used to be much more affordable in the past. And Chanel has this weird tendency of messing with us with their prices. So in America, Chanel, with the latest price increase in 2024, has just done the craziest thing. They have upped the price of the Eau de Cologne to match it to the price of all of their other Les Exclusives. Their Eau de Cologne used to cost always less than the other Les Exclusives back in the day, Eau de Toilette, now Eau de Parfum. But no, now in this latest price increase, Chanel has upped the price of the Eau de Cologne to be the same as the Eau de Parfums, while in Europe, after the price increase, the Eau de Cologne is still cheaper than the Eau de Parfums. Make it make sense, Chanel. Like, what the hell? Anyway, next example of an Eau de Cologne is if we're going to go into the bitter note of cologne. Like sometimes a cologne can have a floral accord that is minced in a way to give you very sophisticated combat against the heat and against sweat. I'm not saying that this cologne is going to prevent you from sweating, but it will not. But what it will do, and I know this, and everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged and just my opinion. For me, this cologne delivers a state of mind which is like, even though I'm sweating and hot in summer, I still feel completely dry because I smell bitter dry. And that no other cologne in this world delivers that gorgeous sensation other than Hermès Cologne Eau de Gentian Blanche, the white gentian flower Cologne by Hermès. Bitter. The gentian root and the gentian flower is very bitter. Oh, so bitter. And there's also Bulgarian rose in here. So it's a flower that is very dry, and it's dried out even more by this bitter accord of the gentian flower. I don't know where to spray. Here, let's spray it here a little bit. Oh man, it's so good. It's like gentian grappa, you know, and I love the gentian grappa from the Dolomites. They make it out of the root of the gentian flower. And also from the root of the gentian flower, you can make tea. It's supposedly very good for the stomach. This cologne is so sophisticated. I mean, very Hermès, but very, 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 very unique. There's nothing like it. In fact, the bottle, you know how the colognes by Hermès, they all have a different nuance of color. Some are even red if they go into the rhubarb direction, right? But the bottle always indicates what you should expect from this perfume. It hints at what the perfume is going to smell like already from the color of the bottle. And this is the darkest, bitter, almost black green hue, like a poison green hue, like a gray green. And in fact, it has that gray smell in it. The dryness, so it's medicinal almost. It's a medicinal type of cologne. Gorgeous and intense. You see, this is not one of those that is fleeting after 20 minutes. No, this one sticks around for hours and hours. On my skin, at least, it does. Number 4 is an example of an affordable cologne, but kind of, you know, the reputation precedes it. It's classified as kind of one of the first, if not the first. Well, technically there have been some prior, but the OG cologne from the city of Cologne in Germany, and that would be the 4711, number 4711 in the Glocken Street, number 4711. We have the Cologne water. Now there's a lot of green here, and with the green screen, you see how it disappears. It's really hard to see, because this is pure green and gold. So if I try to tilt it at an angle to have less of the green, you can't really see it. But this one is a splash bottle. Oh, so refreshing. So this is a very affordable cologne. So you can get it, you know, even on Amazon. You can get bottles of it. And I love the splash version, and sometimes I take it with me when on a hot day, and then I take tissues with me as well, and then I just kind of dab it onto the tissue. I just I drip some of it onto the tissue, and then with the tissue, you just kind of freshen yourself up behind the neck a little bit, on the chest area, your hands. So it's almost kind of like a disinfectant moment, but it suavely and delicately perfumes you with a little bit of bergamot and lemon, and it's a very, very fleeting and soft concentration, and you have to keep reapplying. But it's beautiful, especially if you're traveling in public transportation, trains, buses, to kind of just in the sweat, in the heat of the summer, when other people around you are all stinky, you know, and you kind of dab this just to preserve yourself, and it makes you feel a little bit cleaner and fresher. So love this one. And really, I mean, you can get it for a couple of dollars, you know, nowadays. And they also make ginormous bottles. They also make like a 1 liter bottle of this if you want. This one is a smaller bottle. This is a 50 ml splash. Rachel says it's so fabulous and so easy on the wallet in the chats. Yes. 4711 is so insiders, IYKYK. Yup, Rach, that's exactly what this is. And my number 5, to conclude my top colognes, is the most intense cologne I've ever smelled in my life. And unfortunately discontinued. It is available now in a different concentration for a lot more money. But this is a great example to show you and to prove to you the point that I made at the beginning of this video, that colognes are not necessarily these weak little waterlets, you know, and everybody has this notion that they have to be weaker than an eau de toilette, that they have to be weaker than an eau de parfum. They don't have to be. In fact, what I'm about to show you next is a cologne that is so intense. I mean, this one can outbeat even extraits, okay? So this is from the early 2000s. Francis Kurkdjian is the nose behind this one, and it is the first iteration of Eau Noire. And looky, ew, the name on the sticker, Cologne. Eau Noire, Cologne. Look at that gorgeous poison green color. So this is the first iteration of Eau Noire when it was originally released in the Collection Privee range in the early 2000s. The first 3 that were released were Cologne Blanche, Bois d'Argent, and Eau Noire. All 3 in Cologne concentration. Since then, evolution happened, and they have been reformulated and given the eau de parfum treatment. Many more have been added to the collection, but I have the original, still a couple of milliliters left here. The 250 ml bottle, you could screw this off and use it as a splash, or you can use it as a spray. This is a cologne. Now, Hedi Slimane, it is said, wanted a perfume for himself while he was at Dior and Francis Kurkdjian created this for him, and then it was also sold, right? So once I spray this, this will nuke all of these other colognes on my skin. So let's enjoy them for one more second before we nuke it. Whoa, baby. Oh my God, this is so good. Oh. And I'm sorry, Francis, but this is light years better than your current eau de parfum concentration formulation, where you've stripped away the green colors and now it's like a yellowy, transparent liquid. Oh, wow. This thing is so deep, nuanced, complex, complicated. Burnt woods, the lavender, the anise, the fennel, the caramelized licorice in here. It's just on another level. I mean, now when you smell the current version in eau de parfum concentration, I'm always going to love Eau Noire, no matter what they do and how they reformulate it. I just love it to bits. But this, there's a fullness to this that is just so overwhelmingly delicious, mouth drooling. The Immortel in here also plays so beautifully with all the other elements and components. It's also smoky. A masterpiece, a masterpiece. And yes, it's a cologne, but it is there to prove the point that just because it's a cologne doesn't mean that it's weak, doesn't mean that it's fleeting. This thing lasts days on the skin. It's a beast in the best of ways. It's a beast in the best of ways. And it is the best receipt that we have to prove that colognes live in a world of their own. It's like when you talk about a cologne, you don't say, oh, this cologne fragrance, blah, 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 smells like. No, you say this cologne smells this, like that, da, da, da. Fragrances, different world. Colognes, their own world. Colognes are amazing, and we got to bring back colognes, you guys. We got to enjoy them more. We have to give them more love. We have to push more the boundaries of cologne. It's like cologne has been forgotten. Everybody thinks, so, well, you got to put the label eau de parfum on it, and you got to buy it. It's got to be intense. You know, and cologne is not intense. Somebody started saying that cologne is not intense, and now we're here in this position where everybody's discontinuing everything but eau de parfums almost. There's still eau de toilettes out there, but it's getting really, really difficult. I'm here to say let's raise awareness about this, and let's give colognes a new life. And let's demystify the notion. Let's reprogram ourselves and consider colognes a special art form in its own right that should not be limited by the designation, oh, these are just weaker perfumes. No, they're not just perfumes, they're colognes. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts and prayers down below. What are your favorite colognes? Let us know in the comment section down below. Love you loads. Never forget to never give up on love. Subscribe and thumb up this video if you liked it. Bye.